Good.
Yep.
All right.
Hey, folks. Welcome into Lunch Breaks.
Dystopian Thursday.
September 4th, Dystopian Thursday. Man, there's been some dystopian economic news coming out today.
Oh goodness.
Everything that we have been saying is going to happen about jobs, we're finding out has already been happening. Like, I didn't include this in our show notes.
Yeah.
But I just read today that we're about to get a revision down 650,000 jobs from the last job report that we said we're creating.
Okay.
Here's the thing. We actually didn't create those.
Well, there's 1 million from the Biden administration they just made up.
Right.
Okay. So I'm with the idea.
Well, they're all projections.
Well, I understand that, but I'm with the idea of if this will tank markets.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with the idea of the Trump administration on this. I'm not picking sides here. What I'm saying is if this information tanks economies
mm-hmm.
and is so damn important
mm-hmm.
and it's never right, why release it? If it's never right, why make it a KPI? Why make it any of this stuff if it tanks markets?
Here's why. Because they've used it to prop up markets.
Well, I understand that.
So,
I understand
what it is now is it's an artificially inflated market that has no business being what it is. And it's been riding on the back of fake data.
Okay.
So at some point, you've got to get back to accurate data to make decisions.
Well, and that's what I'm going to. All this technology, Palantir, all of these real-time data things, all this stuff that can read things in real time, but dynamic pricing, right? Sure. That stuff that literally changes prices across a whole network like Walmart. They can't figure out some way to create something that can at least ballpark an important number.
I think they can now. I think that's never been done in the past, which is probably why you see the revision down today of 650,000 jobs down. This is the largest revision since 2010, which tells me that we have better data now that Trump's in office.
Right.
Because this data is coming from the fourth quarter and the first quarter of this year.
Yeah, and plus the bureaucracy that never changes, that really doesn't like this administration, would want all the bad news to come out.
Well, and it's supposed to come from the CBO, which is supposed to be politically independent. Nothing is politically independent.
And also, it's my whole thing is like the CBO, again, how much money do we spend on, again, an organization that has never given us real numbers? To me, it's a house of cards that needs you either throw it out and find something new, or just keep going the way you're going and just understand it's garbage numbers.
We're going to have to admit to ourselves, because we're going to have real data now, that we have been being lied to for 50 years.
Yeah.
I agree. For just the reason that you described of, well, if we tell them the truth, what's going to happen? Well, we can't tell them the truth. They can't handle the truth.
Yeah.
Right. So,
well, and also we're in a part of the world where the job market's pretty good. So we don't see it in like a big city, and we don't, I'm not around, you're around young, below the age of 18 kids.
Yep.
I'm not around what I would call the youth movement. I'm not around someone who's 22 to 38, even though I'm at a co-working space. Co-working here is not young people. Co-working here is 40, it's 35 and up. And it's just, I don't see that world that we're talking about. And I have no idea what it's like in a big city.
Well, I'll tell you this. I talked to somebody yesterday who spends an exorbitant amount of time with students at the University of South Alabama.
Okay.
This group that just graduated, of the 60 people that graduated, part of that cohort, 40 of them are looking for jobs and have no prospects. The other 20 got jobs with somebody they knew or a family.
Well, and again, I hate to say this, I was not a go-getter out of college. I thought the whole thing was I had to know somebody to get a job. I was just very limited in my thinking.
I don't think a go-getter gets going anymore.
Well, but it that hasn't changed since I was younger too. Someone had to get me into the door,
Yeah. But here's the problem: when we remove the entry-level jobs, there's no door to enter. There's no way to go learn your profession.
So I'll jump to a question of the day. Your oldest daughter, 23 years old, has what I would say is a tradable degree. Let's just say accounting, something like that. It's actually a trade.
Yep.
she's not finding any traction at all finding a job, would you suggest to her at some point, at what time are you going to go work cleaning houses or working a labor job?
Absolutely.
Or, okay.
No, 100%. But the problem is, it's still, you have the compression in the market. So
Oh,
like,
I understand that. I understand it. But what I'm saying is, at what point do you tell her to turn her angle away from her dream first job to a job?
well, I would start with, hopefully she's had a job before she turns 23.
Yeah.
So it's not their first, like my children
yeah,
will have
right,
jobs
right.
anywhere they can get a job.
And trust me, that's going to hurt you down the road if your first job starts at 22 years old.
Yeah.
That's a very bad thing
But-
on a
But
resume.
all the jobs that we give to teenagers are the first jobs that we're going to be
Sure.
removing.
That's a whole thing of
So
like,
we've got a cycle,
It's
right?
the-
We're stuck in a cycle that's going to continue until it breaks.
well, that's the thing of fast food jobs were never meant to be living wages.
Maybe so.
They were
Yeah.
meant to. I'm not saying we haven't become that.
Yeah.
So that's that weird thing of the pricing. Everything is so strange because the idea of someone that's working, unless you're a management position at a fast food place, I hope that's not your main gig.
Well, what else would you? What other options do you
I
have?
don't know. Again, what I'm saying though is, but you have
So most of the people
but then
who-
you have mayors that want $30 an hour at fast food places.
Sure.
Come on, man. That's not, you can't, we just watched the McDonald's things and their prices and their prices are doubled.
Yep.
Sales are down. How in the world are you going to sell a Big Mac for $11.50?
Well, the problem is the same thing that we've talked about, because these businesses keep raising prices to keep getting better margins and to keep getting their stock prices higher. The people who benefit are the people who own the stocks. If you
Sure.
work at McDonald's, you probably also work somewhere else.
Well, I would hope you would.
I mean, the industrious ones do,
Yes.
right? They're working everywhere they can. They're
But
trying to
again,
pick
it was
up shift
never,
anywhere
but
they
in
can.
my opinion is, at what point I would like to know the point that, and I don't know this, at what point did McDonald's say this is a career?
I would guess somewhere when we stopped creating enough jobs that people could move into. It's
Yeah,
not
I
like
got
we've got this,
Yeah.
like, it's not like there's millions of unfilled jobs. When we talk about that, they're talking
It
about,
used to be, supposedly it used to be.
Well, I don't believe any of the numbers
Yeah,
ever,
I got you.
because they told us if we kick out all these immigrants, then the country's going to collapse.
Yeah.
And what we're finding is that's not true.
Mhm.
Maybe the housing market is a problem because we've got 30 million illegals living in houses,
Right.
right? Maybe this is a lot of our
especially
problems.
especially the rental market.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the rental market controls every. I mean, it's all interconnected, right? But I guess where I'm going with this is, we've never been in a world in the past 100 years. We're going to have to go back to the way the world was 150 years ago, where your path was whatever you could find through an apprenticeship,
Right.
through working on the farm, through, like, here's the problem. Like, we created an industrial society, and then we had made it so efficient that we didn't need the laborers that we created the system for.
Correct. Same with the agrarian.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, the reason that we put in child labor laws was because we had reached a point where we had enough labor that we didn't have to rely on them. And then we just claimed it. Oh, we're only going to let them work 10 hours a week. I mean, 10 hours a day now. Right. Well, they only did that because they had enough capacity to start depending on children less.
Well,
It's a dystopian Thursday.
it is, and you are like how I've been before. I walked in a little, like I would say, on the
I just read too much bad news this
on the
morning.
gray side of
Yeah,
life
I read too much
today.
bad news when it all came at once. So I will be optimistic about it once I process it.
All right. Well, look,
And certainly in time for overly optimistic Friday.
and we'll talk about that because I started out with. Okay, we will talk today about. Yesterday, by the way, was a great talk about water usage and AI. I really
I thought so.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to talk about predictive AI policing, and is it a dream or is it a Minority Report nightmare?
Okay.
And I was reading a lot of stuff too this morning. Got a report from Agent Blake Poe, and it kind of put me in a bad mood. But then I was prepping for the show tomorrow, Overly Optimistic Friday, and I got into this thing about Tesla's Master Plan 4.
Mhm.
And what Tesla's doing. And it was this idea of sustainable prosperity. And it kind of gave me a much different view of more rainbows and unicorns
Yeah.
on top of this greatness, because we'll talk about that tomorrow. But
Well, I would still argue that I'll have to review Tesla's plan tomorrow
Yeah.
after the show, but it's still going to be, after everything is broken, this is how it gets rebuilt gloriously.
Yes, and the thing that I was reading was it sounds like the most Star Trek
But we keep
futuristic.
skipping over everything has to break first.
Well, of course, it has to get so much worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
But what was interesting was in a world of, it sounds like a dystopian film, in a world where resources are limited. Okay, well, what they're saying is we understand the world is limited. These resources are limited. And the idea of how this actually changes it and it's accessible to all, not the few.
Sure.
Again, that's the mission for the whole company.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into what you eating, which I haven't even thought about it because I've been running. We had technical problems. That's why we were late today getting started. But if you could have anything right now to eat, what would you eat, Scott?
If I could have anything right now, it would probably be, it's a dystopian Thursday. I'm going to go home and eat a turkey sandwich.
Just a turkey sandwich?
I'll put some mustard on it.
Well, let's see. I would want, I've been thinking about debris a lot since we were there last week or so.
Yeah.
And I think I want that soft shell crab po' boy.
It did look good.
Because I would have taken half the soft shell crabs off.
Yeah.
I would have covered them in cocktail sauce, put the other part that fit in the po' boy and eat the po' boy. Or half the po' boy and maybe just the soft shell crabs. But my goodness, that was good.
One of the weirder things in the world that we eat, right? I mean,
right, soft shell crabs. Yeah, super weird.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Well,
you want the whole crab? Yeah. Like nobody wants the whole crab. Yeah, I want the whole crab.
Well, what's funny is
fry that sucker up.
What's funny is look at the price of seafood, which is outrageous. Yeah. But back in the day, that was poor people food. That was so amazing.
So were oysters.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. All of that.
So it was chicken wings.
Yes. Oh, chicken wings. Yes, correct.
Chicken wings,
and now it's ridiculous. Yeah.
I mean, they're like over $1 each.
Yeah.
And small.
Yeah.
When I was in college, a long time ago, obviously, because I'm old, you could have $5 wing night.
Oh, yes. Dime a wing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, so Wings and Things in Tuscaloosa, 1990, 89. That was Bob Baumhauer's one of his first. That's all they did, like wings and French fries and booze and beer and drinks. I want to say I think on Tuesdays it was dime wings. The dime a wing, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so now I want chicken wings.
I always like chicken wings.
Oh
too.
Yeah, anytime. I tell you, what's got good chicken wings is Costco sells this bag. And I don't know who makes it, but it's not like Tyson or something like that. It's it's in a black bag. It's called like, I think something and crispy.
Okay.
Tasty and crispy. It's in a black bag.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can get it for like $15. There's like, there's a bunch of them in there. Holy moly, man.
Put 'em in the air fryer?
Air fryer's fantastic, but just baking too.
Okay.
Solid. So
I always use the air fryer now instead of the oven. It's just easier.
Look, it's also, it's healthier too, right? So Dystopian Friday, I'm going to go ahead and get into some news here. NASA Administration Sean Duffy says the U.S. will send 4-man crew to the moon at the beginning of next year. Does that sound a little too quick? But I guess we have these private companies now doing this.
I'm guessing Elon's going to be the one taking them up there.
So this isn't dystopian, by the way. This is just news that I pulled. And then also, you sent me this. Digital content creators like ourselves with that big whopping 0 of us people watching us over there. Right. For the big, beautiful bill, we are under the no tax on tips. But we don't ask people to tip us, but at some point we'd like to. But again,
it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I think people are going to call their subscriptions tips.
I agree. Yeah, right? you change.
You're going to just change the wording.
But you only get up to a certain amount of money.
$25,000.
$25,000. So that's not going to do very good for a company that's actually doing well with subscriptions.
But for independent people who are making their first $25,000 is tax free.
Yeah.
So I mean that makes a big difference if you're making $30,000 or $40,000 as a streamer or a podcaster.
Yeah, and also it's getting harder. Again, it's getting harder and harder to get eyeballs. It's getting harder and harder to do this. The people, when I was doing early podcasting stuff, it was 2015. It was true independence. There was independent people doing really cool stuff, and once the celebrities came in,
you just soak up all the attention.
It soaked up everything. It's like how are you going to compete with name a sports. A Manning.
Yeah.
How you gonna deal with a Manning? How you gonna deal with a sports star? How you gonna deal with a celebrity? A major celebrity.
What's crazy is you see All right, so this is a little dystopian, but there's hope at the end of the light, end of the tunnel here. Kevin O'Leary was on TV the other day, and he said making your first $5 million is incredibly hard.
Yeah.
It's basically impossible. Basically impossible for a normal person to do that. But if you are the person that's able to do that, going from 5 to 10 million is still hard, but not impossible.
It's also it's easier the second 5 million than the first 10 million.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he said after 10 million, he said making 100 million, that's not that hard.
Well, I think either was it Munger,
Charlie Munger,
or his partner, William Buffett. He was the one that says your first million's the toughest, and after that it gets easier and easier and easier.
So I'll give you a good example of this. Travis and Jason Kelce, obviously in the news quite a bit, right? Did you know they have their own beer brand called Garage Beer? Okay. And it's just their slogan is beer that tastes like beer.
Right. Like probably an American lager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
Pabst.
the beer you want to sit around your garage and drink.
Yeah, it's Pabst. Or the Europeans would call that session beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they started this beer company a year ago, and today they just took on an investment at a $200 million valuation.
Yeah, I know. Well, again, it
has nothing to do with the beer.
Right.
It's everything to do with the brand.
No, it has to do with again brand building. But that's who I don't even know who Pitbull is. I just know the name. I seriously don't know who it is. I mean, I'm saying that's more me. That's me. He's like he's like a DJ though, isn't he?
He's
a producer.
He's a producer and a rapper.
Okay. Well, didn't he sell like a tequila brand or something for like hundreds of millions of dollars?
Well,
I know Clooney did.
Clooney sold a tequila brand for $1 billion. The Rock's
tequila,
$1 billion
with a B.
Yep. The Rock's tequila brand is worth $1 billion right now.
Holy moly.
Yeah. So now the interesting thing about how Clooney started his was he was in Mexico with some friends.
Yeah.
Making tequila during COVID lockdown.
Oh, wow.
So they just all hung out and made tequila, and then they were like, we should do this as a business.
Oh, yeah, cool. Well, again, he's got the money. Well, none of him has the money. He has the he has the contacts in his phone to say,
all you have to do is say, I've got this liquor brand and I'm willing to be the face of it.
Right. Right.
You could say, I've got a flip-flop brand, and it doesn't matter. If you have that much leverage in getting attention, anyone will back you. Right? That's why it goes back into Kevin O'Leary. Says it's not hard to get to 100 million if you've got 10. Which is also why it's really disappointing to see how many athletes go bankrupt.
I know.
Because it is so hard to make $5 million. Right?
But not them if they're.
No, what I'm saying is because it's such a hard standard, it should be valued so highly.
Right.
And guys make $5 million on one contract and don't value it and go bankrupt. And then you've got guys like Rob Gronkowski, who never spent a penny of his NFL salary.
Right.
Only spent endorsement
money. But that's discipline.
Exactly.
And I would tell you, I'm just saying.
But I guess my point is, knowing how hard it is to get 5 million, it's sad to see.
But look at a cultural thing of youth, and I would say just certain segments of cultures, they don't. This idea of I never had nothing to begin with, so if I have something and it gone, well, I didn't have nothing to begin with. Again, how someone didn't slap that out of their mouth, I have no idea. They give these very entitled people and special people, these athletes, they give them classes and lessons and consultants, and they still piss it away. I mean, at a point where I used to feel sorry for them, now I'm just like, I don't feel sorry for these people. They're fools. Yeah. And a fool in their money is parted, very quickly. Right. Now, have you seen Saquon Barkley? Have you seen his portfolio? Yeah. His tech portfolio. He also took his salary in Bitcoin, didn't he?
Some of his payments have been in Bitcoin. Yeah. But again, it's about access to smart people and then having the money.
Obviously, he's a smart guy too.
Yes.
So again,
he surrounded himself with smart
people. Smart. Yeah.
Same thing with Shaquille O'Neal. I mean, he has made more money from business.
Gosh.
So get this. He was an early investor in Google 5 years before the IPO.
Woo!
And the way he got involved was he was in the Beverly Hills Hotel and he heard two Google employees talking.
Oh, no lie.
And he said, "What are y'all talking about?"
Yeah.
And he said,
of course they're going to talk to him.
He's Shaq. And it was like in 1999. He's at the pinnacle of his stardom. Yeah. And he said, "What are y'all talking about?" They said this. He goes, "I want to talk to your boss." And they gave him the owner's phone number. And he called the owner and said, "I want to invest in this."
Well, I saw a picture of
whichever one of them.
When South by Southwest wasn't what it is today, it was a true music and tech conference. Now I don't know what it is. It's really big and ridiculous. But early days at South by Southwest, Shaq became his own VC company, of course, because why wouldn't you, right? He was literally sitting at a booth. There's a picture of him sitting at the booth, like anybody else would.
Yeah, but it's Shaq.
But it's Shaq. Who's not going to go talk to Shaq?
Right.
So that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
All
Anyway,
right.
I don't begrudge. Hey, here's my point where I'm going. I don't begrudge any of these people that are able to leverage it and get that much.
They should be able to. Money needs to make more money.
Right. So when I say those things, I don't want people to think, oh, he's hating or just no.
No,
I'm not hating. I'm just talking about how it works.
Right. And also I used to be this idea of like, I didn't like rich people because I thought they were taking from me. And I realized how much fallacy that is, because the idea is there's so much money out there is the idea of like, good for them, but they're not taking from you by making theirs.
Unless they're shareholders in a company that demand that the company keep rising prices.
Or they stole your concept. I mean,
yeah, but I'm saying, like, let's take McDonald's. The reason McDonald's costs what it does is because the shareholders demand
a certain amount of profit.
Right. Yeah. The only way to get that profit is to extract it from the poor people who eat at McDonald's. Because rich people don't eat at McDonald's.
But at the same time, though, but there's also extra costs.
I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong, but I'm saying they are taking from. I'm like, it is a zero-sum game for some people.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, but
it doesn't matter unless you don't.
But there's also other thing too of, well, you can't afford to eat at fast food anymore, and that's a reality too.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, they should. They're gonna, and that's gonna hurt shareholders. But I think we talked about that yesterday. McDonald's says sales are down 10% right now, so I think we're starting to see a little bit of that. Yeah,
it is. Let's move on. Let's move on. I want to show some funny things that we saw, even though it's dystopian. Let's go ahead and show the screen here. And one of the things that you shouldn't have in life is to let Trump
start dunking on you.
Letting him have people that do AI. So this all went out last night. So that's Trump turning the Cracker Barrel logo.
Oh, we got to watch it again.
Okay. Look at this. And then JD, look at this. That look on his face, that jib jab look.
I wonder if this is just like random people are making memes, and Trump's team is like,
that's a good one. Sure. Why wouldn't they? Well, all you have to do is put it on Truth, and
Truth Social, Okay.
So they get that, so and then here's, of course, the pencil neck Adam Schiff.
Oh my god!
And then this one went out late last night, which is Chris Christie and JD Pritzker doing the sumo.
I tell you what, they're both more athletic than I expected.
Very athletic, yeah. The sumos are gods now. He is not making fun of them. Those are gods to some people.
Those are the most elite athletes in Japan.
Yeah, they're. Have you seen how they the sumos do their autograph?
Yeah,
they do their autograph by so there's somebody there and he's just sitting there and his and they're putting pieces of paper in front of him and he's sticking his hand in ink and slapping it.
Okay.
And he moves it and just his hand, it's
handprint.
Huge handprint.
That's kind of cool though.
But again, it's obviously his and you can't fake it because it's his finger. Cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I almost now want to do that for anything. Like they have to put their fingerprint on that.
So Micah Parsons just got traded from the Cowboys to the Packers, signed the largest deal ever for an NFL player, not a quarterback.
And also he is hurt.
He's also hurt.
How does that get through?
Here's where the sumo story comes in. He went up against a sumo wrestler.
Oh, I saw that.
And he got absolutely
couldn't even move. Couldn't
move him an inch.
I did see that.
And couldn't get past him.
So what position does he play?
Mike Parsons plays defense. So like
he's lineman. He's lineman. He's like
a rushing the quarterback's his job.
Okay. I was gonna say a lineman. You'd have to be an edge rusher to make that kind of money. Not an interior.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Let's see. Let's see what else we're going to have that was pretty. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and jump to our, I have to load this because we got really late today. So let me load this video.
Welcome world to the future new police state. This is Agent Blake Poe here. Give me 2 minutes and let's talk AI policing, the promise, the peril, and yes, the Minority Report vibes you're vibing. Picture crime fighting like weather forecasting. Algorithms scan yesterday's storms, arrest logs, 911 calls, camera feeds to predict tomorrow's hotspots. In the movie, pre-crime ran on precogs in a milk bath. Today, it's black box math. crime maps, risk lists, and alerts that say, "Send units here, watch this person." Some systems bragged eye-popping accuracy. Others whiffed and were quietly shelved. Meanwhile, surveillance grew fangs. Face recognition that tracks you like a thread through a city. License plate readers that remember every pass. Gunshot mics that triangulate pops. And body cam and 911 audio flipped into searchable transcripts at machine speed. Think retina scanners from the film, only now it's face prints and gait. Here's the catch. If you can't see how a system works, you can't see how it fails. Biased data in, biased patrols out. Neighborhood, school, or income can act like masks for race. Several programs were scrapped for poor results or profiling. Others are expanding right now, sold as faster, smarter, safer. Simple checks for the real world. If an algorithm can steer patrols or a courtroom, can a normal person understand and challenge it? Has it been independently audited for accuracy and bias, not just demoed? Are there guardrails, warrants, human review, deletion dates, or just trust us? Is it paired with proven basics, prevention, treatment, opportunity, or used as a shortcut around root causes? Use AI like a smoke alarm, not handcuffs. It should find patterns, not pronounce guilt. Minority Report warned us, when prediction feels like prophecy, power stops asking questions. Here it is. Trust no black box. If they're drawing hot zones, they're drawing circles around lives. Demand receipts, policies, audits, appeal rights. If a tool can't explain itself, it doesn't get to judge you. Safety without liberty is a cage. Liberty without safety is a slogan. The balance is the mission, and they're counting on you not to look. This is Agent Blake Poe. Keep your eyes up, your questions sharp, and your footprint small. If the map looks inevitable, ask who's holding the pen. I'll be on the other side of the signal, where the noise gets interesting.
So that's a good fit for Dystopian Thursday.
That is the one that when Uncle Henry asked us, how does AI approach us in everyday life?
Yeah.
Surveillance and Big Brother State is the easiest one. And there are some, we'll show a company that is crazy that's just got a bunch of AI seed money.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's called Flock.
Yep.
But you sent me that actually.
Mm-hmm.
But that was interesting when it does say, and facial recognition has been around for quite a while.
Sure.
Because I went to Mexico during COVID, so it was 2021, and when I was coming back in America, boy, I had my passport and my COVID card ready, man. I was all like, I'm gonna get through this, and I put my card up, my passport, and the guy was like, "No, you're good." And I was like, well, "Wait, what?" He goes, "No, you're good." And I realized when I look back, there's a camera, and so do they tell you to turn?
Yeah.
And he didn't ask for nothing, man.
Yeah,
Obviously, it read my face and said, "Background check, be good, he's good."
Where we're going to see the big breakthroughs in this is because of AI being able to synthesize all this data. So we've had all this data.
And fast. Yeah,
and it's lived
accessibility.
It's lived different places. You couldn't pick up patterns. And so my suggestion to anyone that's in favor of this technology is you also have to let me give you the worst person in the world to be in charge of it. Whoever you objectively think is the worst person in the world, they get to be in charge of this program, and then tell me if you're in favor.
That's that thing of be careful for what you legislate, because when you're not empowered, they're going to use it against you. Right.
Well,
hold on.
So if you think the tool is appropriate, then it needs to be appropriate, even if the very worst person were to use it.
So George W. Bush, right?
Yeah, he was president.
The real dumb one. The 2000.
Yeah.
Okay, not the CIA. Not the
Bush.
CIA head. The spawn of CIA guy. That Patriot Act and George Bush is the reason why I would never claim to be Republican. That Patriot Act, and I think it was Ron Paul that said, if you honestly believe they're going to not use these same tools for these terrorists, that they won't be using on citizens of this country, you are out of your mind.
Yep.
And everyone poo-pooed him and called him a traitor, not unpatriotic, and how freaking right was wrong. But Ron Paul, talk about when that
He's consistent, at least.
well, hold on. Here's
right?
the thing. And he has missed on some things, but he has been more right than wrong. So that hat that says Donald Trump was right about everything, I want the hat that says Ron Paul was right about everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so, and I get why we live in a world, because I don't know who said this. It was citizenry, when they're giving a choice, will not embrace liberty. They will embrace safety.
Well, someone else also said, if you choose safety over liberty, you'll receive neither.
Right. I got it. But the other thing, again, my thing is, and that we're seeing that now with, I understand we need to clean up these cities now, because these governments in these cities aren't helping themselves. They cannot stop this crime. Now I just don't know how I feel about troops on the streets of America. I get why, but it goes, my libertarian, which I'm not even a libertarian anymore, the hair on my neck stands up hearing all this stuff.
Yeah, it's a shame we let it get to this point to begin with.
And and the whole thing is like,
but here's the problem: is the National Guard coming through and cleaning up is a temporary solution to a much larger problem.
Yeah,
unless they stay stationed there, it's going to just return back to exactly what it was as soon as they leave town.
Well, again, it's the broken windows.
Broken window theory, but it's a lot deeper than that. It's related to poverty and crime. I mean, until we fix, like, you're going to see crime increase, which is why people are going to flock. We'll talk about that company.
Flock.
They're going to flock to having pre-crime be something that they're in favor of, because as crime rises, which is our more threat,
which is our minority report. We kept talking earlier. It was like precognition. Was the whole thing of, we're going to arrest you because we can see into the future and we have predicting you're going to cause a murder. But the problem is, though, they use like supernatural stuff with seeing into the future in that movie, where what we're saying is AI is doing adaptive and predictive things, saying he has a 91% chance. This person has a 91% chance in this neighborhood with his background or her background, and what can be done. So the idea is, do I wait for that assault or do I stop it beforehand?
And then you have to tolerate the wrong calls.
Oh, that
right?
and
you have to be. You have to say, what is your threshold?
And
wrong calls.
Blake Poe addressed that. He said, "How do you deal with mishits and whiffs?"
Right.
Because the idea is, because qualified immunity, once this gets in, and it becomes lexicon or use, it goes into qualified immunity.
Yes.
Meaning, and again, people need to look up what qualified immunity is. The state can wrong you in the most wrongable way you can imagine, but if it's not done a very specific way, the state gets a full pass.
Yep.
And again, you say the idea of like, oh, sorry, we arrest you for something you might have done. You've got no recourse.
This is why bond is so important. And people say like, oh, we shouldn't have bond available for these killers. We put them back on the street. Well, they haven't been convicted yet.
Well, it's a form of punishment.
Bond is an American institution.
No, come on. You can't get arrested,
locked up.
Until
you've been convicted.
Oh, you're saying unless the judge. So we're saying we do that unlike anybody else does.
That's right.
Okay.
An American hallmark is you are not guilty until you have been convicted.
Right. Regardless of what the press says.
Regardless of what the press says. So the reason we give you speedy access to a judge to have a hearing is because bond is fundamental to American society.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to say if you've got 3 felonies, you're no longer eligible for bond, maybe we can talk there.
Right. And that's also.
But it can't just be some specific crime. If you're accused of doing this, we don't ever bond you out, because otherwise you just accuse people of doing stuff and you never bond them out.
Well, again, I've heard the pros and cons of cashless bond, but I would say history has not bore out that it's a very smart system. Especially recent history, not ancient history, recent.
Well, if that's the case, then we just need to bring back debtors' prisons.
Well, I'm just saying the fact of, if someone first, when it goes back to when you watch on TV, which is not really court, I understand that. But when someone says this person has a business, is in the community, blah, 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 has never been arrested before,
right,
that person should be up for cashless bond. But if you have a rap sheet as long as my arm,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You have proved time and time again. If there's
We're saying the same thing.
if there's a coin toss between you doing something wrong, you do something right, you're probably gonna do something wrong. So that person stays in jail. So your history actually defines the ability for that to be bonded or not. And cashless is a whole nother thing too.
I would be in favor of that if we hold you without bond and then you're found not guilty, we owe you $1 million a day for every day we illegally kept you in jail.
There's no way that would pass.
Okay, but here's my point.
I understand. No, again,
we're going to
theoretically.
jail you for something that the jury says you did not do.
Yeah.
We owe you something as a society for locking you away like an animal and making you a way worse person after a year in county jail, because that's where you're going to wait. You're not going to a prison.
It's county jail. It's just the sheriff's department.
Yeah, and that is one of the most violent places you can be.
Yeah, other than public schools.
Yeah, right.
Seriously, no. Michael Malice says it all the time that the two places that are government sanctioned that you are going to definitely watch institutional violence is a government-owned prison and a government-owned school.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's my point. If you're going to do that, you've got to offer some incentive for the government to not lock you up without bond. Because why not just do it with dissenters like they're doing in the UK right now? Right? You make a tweet critical of the government, which was
you go
to jail.
Which was a story that was is that an American? I didn't quite get that. You sure the American flew over to Heathrow and that's an American, not a British citizen.
I don't know what citizenry he is.
I ain't look at that for tomorrow.
But the point remains.
Again, for a social media post, people.
Right.
Social media post. I did see what Neil Farage did say on the Parliament floor. You've got to be kidding me. Are we North Korea? You see that where Neil Farage came out?
And you know what the rest of them said?
Yeah, we don't care.
We don't care.
We don't care.
You're not going to offend.
Yeah, they have been again, and you know what they say when Europe gets the flu, we get the cold, and then reverse.
Mm-hmm.
What we see in Europe, we'll see in America eventually
if you don't stop.
Yeah, again, but what part? I mean, until the Trump administration came in, did you see any administration stopping any of the of this move towards?
I think we were on a freight train toward European
style statism. Yeah. Yes, and also people cheering it on.
Oh, actively
cheering it on.
Yeah. By
the way, these are the hippies that had the free speech movement in the freaking 60s that are now statists that cheer for the CIA and the FBI. I mean, again, woo! We live in a crazy world.
Comfort. The hippies were raised in an era of comfort. Here's what I mean by that.
Sure.
The hippies were born in the late 40s and the early 50s.
Yeah.
Right. They lived in the greatest era you could ever hope for.
Yes.
They were raised in the 50s with a one parent working, one parent in the household. They graduated from high school in the 60s or 70s at 18 or 20, started working and bought a house for $15,000 that's now worth $1 million. So everything along the way, they were there when they were in their prime working years when we started 401ks. They were the first people to get access to all of this.
Well, I have a question. Are you looking down at them for that?
I'm saying they are the worst generation because now.
Come on, that's not parents. That's your. Well, is that your parents too? That's your parents too.
Well, it's not ever per person.
Yeah.
But here's my point. They are the people that tell 18-year-old kids now, you should be making coffee at home. You should be.
Well,
no, but here's my point.
that's not bad advice.
No, but that's not the solution.
Yeah.
You cannot save your way. If you're making $20,000 a year, it doesn't matter if you're buying coffee or not. You're probably not buying it very often, especially now. But my point is, those people seem to still believe in the broken promise of if you go to college, do what you're supposed to do, get a job, move out. Don't live with your parents, by the way.
Yeah.
You're lazy and you're a loser if you live with your parents. So you also need to go and spend more money. So I just think they're, in general, they're a generation that was born on third base and think they hit a triple.
But here's the thing. But that's the bubble thing, right? I'm in a bubble. I don't look at what's happening and all these. And I do it too. Like I said, one of the things that I love saying now is when I make a comment about something that I see that young people do, young culture, whatever, I'm literally saying now I might have an opinion on it, but I'm not supposed to understand it. I am 55 years old.
Right.
I am not a part of the youth culture. I can mock it all day. I don't
Right.
judge it kind of degree, but I can mock it. But my idea is like, well, that's what they do, right or wrong.
Sure.
That's their stupid or brilliant life. And but that's kind of freed me up a little bit too.
Yeah.
you know?
But that's different to me than condemning them
Sure.
and saying that they're the problem.
Yeah.
They're not the problem. They inherited a broken system.
Well, and
They're
also
trying to do the best they can
but
with a broken system.
look at what the person who's 20 years old has lived through in their lifetime. One by the way, by a system that has let them down. Okay.
Let's
The
say you're
government has
25.
let them down.
Call it
Their
25.
culture has let them down. Their community has let them down. The world let them down. Their health experts let them down at every turn. Why are they not the most anarcho-capital? They should be all Occupy Wall Street.
Yeah.
They really should be.
Yeah.
So it's amazing that it's not more storming of capitals for the reasons of you have lived a life where the system that you look at to help you has literally put an obstacle or derailed your life at every turn.
Do the math on this. This will give you some perspective. If you're 25 years old right now, you were born in 2000.
Mm-hmm.
You were 1 year old when 9/11 happened.
Mm-hmm.
You've lived your entire life in a military police state of the war
Surveillance,
on terror.
yeah.
The war on terror.
And then 2008 with the
2008
with the bubble.
One of your parents
Yeah.
may have lost their job.
Yeah.
And you may have lost your house, like a lot of families did. And now what should have been a generation that could protect you and help their children don't have the same safety net that the boomers were able to give
Sure.
their children.
Generational wealth, yeah.
Right. So we evaporate that. Now you're 8. Then you go through COVID when you're, in the middle of college. And you come out to a job market that doesn't exist. And to your point, you've been lied about everything. If I was 25, I'd probably be a protester.
Pretty angry.
Yeah.
Pretty angry. But at the same time, though, I do hear the other side of that is that time between 2000 and 2025 has also made more millionaires and billionaires and everything too. There's been the other side of that.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just the elite. To be honest, more people have moved up at this time because of technology. Technology people have moved up in that world. What problem is, it's the middle gets squeezed.
Right.
The middle gets squeezed on everything. The poor will always be the poor. And I hate to say this, most of them cannot figure out how to get out of it.
Yep.
There are no resources in a system that actually keeps them there.
Right.
The middle is the one that squeezes because they end up saying, I'm going to take a traditional path.
Mm-hmm.
And the traditional paths are the ones that are not risky and seem to be the most logical, but those are the ones that disappear fastest.
And they're the ones that are pinched the hardest because as inflation continues to rise, wages do not rise equal.
No,
to
not even
inflation.
close.
So it goes back to your point of like, a fast food place can't possibly afford to pay $30 an hour to their workers. Okay. Yes, that's true. But do you know what? Let's go to 1985. Let's just look this up real quick.
Oh, those are good years, 1985.
I love that.
You weren't even born, were you?
Yeah, I was 4.
I was
But
15, baby.
I'm using it for Back to the Future reference, right?
Okay.
So what was the minimum wage in 1985 and what is that worth today?
Oh, I'm betting like it's $4.
All right. So Grok says 1985, the minimum wage was $3.35 an hour.
$3.35. God, did I make that when I was a lifeguard? My gosh.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't think this is right. It
Are you
says-
looking up what's it worth today?
Yeah, it says it's the equivalent of $10.04, and that's not right. There's no way that $3.85 is worth $10 today.
You're thinking it's more?
Yeah, I saw something that said it was closer to like $40.
That seems a little too high. Well, let's just go ahead and say it's $20.
20
So what's your
bucks.
point?
My point is minimum wage has been put in place to say this is the very minimum you have to pay someone.
Right.
And if that was not in place, people would pay you less.
Possibly.
100%. If they could get away with it.
Again,
If they can get away with it.
you don't get minimum wage when you have minimum skills.
No, you don't. So if
But yes, a dishwasher So hold on, I will give you a rebuttal to that. I'll give you a rebuttal to that.
Well, we don't even know what I'm arguing. What am I arguing?
Well, but you said the idea people would pay you lower if they could.
If they could, sure.
But I'm gonna give you in the lowest, one of the lowest end jobs in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Guy who owns restaurants here told me, do you know what my minimum wage is? The minimum wage to keep my dishwasher coming back the next day, so I'm not washing the dishes.
That's right.
So that has nothing to do with I want to pay them lower. They would, but the idea
But
is,
he would if they would show up for less money.
of course, it's $275, and the guy showed up for $275. I'm not paying them $3. But at some point, that guy's gonna say, I want $325. You're gonna say, you damn right, you get $325 because I ain't washing dishes.
Not starting now, because today the data came out, and the trend will not reverse anytime soon. There are more people looking for jobs than there are jobs available. That is.
But how do you know that? We just talked about, how do we know that data is right?
We don't.
Okay. All right.
I mean, it's only
And
as
that's
good as whatever
frustrating.
they tell us.
And that's frustrating.
It's only as good as whatever they tell us.
Yeah.
I don't know. But that doesn't seem like the type of news they would release unless it was that bad or worse.
Or they want to throw spears and arrows at the group that says, who's sitting in office, who says how great the economy is over and over and over again.
Yeah. Maybe
Right,
so.
yeah. Okay. I mean,
Yeah,
the
it
fifth
could be
column.
it could be sabotage.
Come on, man. We know this. Legacy media is a fifth column.
Sure.
I mean, of course it is.
Yeah, it could easily be
Yeah.
sabotaging it.
Yeah. I don't know. They say it's the fourth pillar. Bull crap. I think it's outright.
Well,
It's Project Mockingbird.
Here's my point.
Operation Mockingbird.
The point I was trying to make. I'm not telling business owners they should have to pay people more money.
No.
I'm just saying, if people don't have a way to survive, they will turn to crime.
Oh,
so you
yes.
can't say you can say this, but it's real disingenuous.
Hold on, it's not okay.
I'm kicking out the homeless people and I'm arresting all the criminals, and they're homeless because they don't they're homeless because we don't have mental health services in this country for them.
We have one provider of mental health in Mobile. One provider. Yeah. One. And I don't know. I've heard mixed reviews, but mostly it's been very mixed.
But if you don't, you get what you incentivize.
Sure.
So if you incentivize people to not have jobs, you're incentivizing crime.
Well, are you saying with welfare state that's incentivizing the idea? Is that what you're saying? Who's incentivizing crime? Because we're not paying them enough. Because there's not wages and not enough jobs.
Yeah. And I'm not talking about traditional. I think where I'm going with this is people who are just hardcore criminals. They're just always going to be hardcore.
It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter what is going on in the world. They're still going to be hardcore.
But how many 15 and 16-year-olds are there that are walking the line that they could go one direction or the other?
Sure.
And the other is getting a thinner road every day.
And also going to get harder and harder for that 15-year-old because, like I said, those entry-level jobs will no longer be available.
If you're a 15-year-old kid, you want to go get your first job at Burger King, and you're competing against the 25-year-old with the
college degree,
with the master's in English, who's going to get the job? So you're going to see compression all the way down the line. Is my point. And then the people who have the master's degree in English working at Chipotle, they're not even making enough money to pay off their student loans. So they're going, why the hell am I going to go work at Chipotle? I can't even make enough to pay my student loans. Yeah,
I mean, they're calling the college world now that's the new broken promise. You sold me this line where I need to get $130,000 in debt, and I'm cleaning toilets. I just saw that on X, but that's anecdotal. But but
so it's Dystopian Thursday, which is appropriate for us to have this conversation. I think the other appropriate thing is that when we're done with the show, we cut it off. And we go back to being optimistic.
Well, tomorrow is Overly Optimistic Friday.
Yeah, but I'm saying I'm going to shut it down on myself when I walk out of the studio today. And I'm going to decide I'm going to embrace the positive aspects of this and try and navigate my way through it.
Well,
because I don't know what else to do.
No, and also I don't know what we could do to change it. My thing always is you're on the deck of the Titanic and you see the iceberg, and unlike whatever happened on that, you don't run into it. Or the hurricane's coming and you're not the people who's decided to throw the hurricane party in Gulfport, Mississippi on the beach. Right. So the idea is there is a way to mitigate. I do go back to the fact of, as a nation, as a species, and especially as a nation, we have figured out how to get through hard times. We have figured it out in the past.
Oh, we'll get through the hard times.
It's just going to it depends on how ugly it gets.
What is the scarring going to look like in the process?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that Americans are going to have a hard time with the decisions that are going to have to be made. Because I mean,
I would be very like you have 3 daughters. I would be very worried for their. That's why I don't have children, and one of the things that I will probably end up regretting that very much not having any offspring. I'm the last of the Gwens. I've failed on that part in my life. But a part of me goes, man, I'm kind of glad I don't have to worry about. Like I'm worried about me. I can't imagine worried about a 7-year-old.
it's why it's disingenuous for Elon Musk to tell everyone they need to have more children.
To have more children. Well,
It's real easy to say when you're the richest man in the world,
right? But it's also come from the idea of like a nation that's not growing in population is a dying nation too.
No,
So
I agree with that.
it's
But
weird,
everybody
yeah.
has to make their own individual decision.
yeah,
And when you have a generation of people who can't get jobs, they're not going to go. Here's where I'm going with this. We're going to have to figure out a new way to become what adulthood means. How do you go from living in your parents' house to either going to college, which may or may not be a good idea, or getting a job, but you can't make enough to move out, so you're living at home? When are these people going to start dating and marry and move out and buy houses and have children? You're going to have a lost generation. You may have a
Right.
15-year gap where that doesn't happen.
well, yay!
Yay, that. Luckily, it doesn't seem like a lot of people are going to be disturbed by our
No,
dystopian commentary.
no one is disturbed today. I'm going to quit.
Let's rate some robots.
No, let's not do. I'd rather do some of this right, just if you can. So it's not what I'm watching, but if you like Minority Report, I'll give you a couple more. Demolition Man is
Okay.
very much a predictive thing too, which is actually
I need to go back and rewatch these.
Demolition Man will freak you out about like how they also had the Burger Wars.
Mm.
Like it's crazy, like how they actually nailed a bunch of stuff. It's
Is that the one with the 3 shells that we just still don't know what they do? Or was that
Oh
Judge
yeah,
Dredd?
no, that was the one about they put those things in their head to have sex.
No, there's 3 shells in the restroom.
Oh yeah, I think that might be right.
And
yeah,
it's either Judge Dredd or Demolition Man. I don't know. It's
no, I
one
think
of
it's
the
Demolition
ones
Man. Yeah, Demolition Man.
with Stallone.
It's also the one where like they talk about prisons. They put you in ice
Yeah.
and
that's
like
right.
you're put away to like I think like Wesley Snipes' character was like an assassin or something, and they taught him like how to sew
Yeah.
or whatever. Like,
That's what we did to Bucky Barnes and Captain America.
that's
Put him on
right.
ice.
Look at that. Again, Judge Dredd. Like the trial executioner all in one thing.
So we should have a conversation next
and
week.
RoboCop.
We should have a conversation next week about why there was such a cluster of really good dystopian films
But
in a time when the world was objectively happy.
But everything was that way. Every music video from the 80s, dystopian post-nuclear war. That was I don't know. I think it was the idea of constantly being told nuclear war is imminent. The Russians had the finger on the button. You are going to honestly believe that there is going to be a post-apocalyptic world.
Right.
And we were being told that and told that and told that. It scarred me forever in my psyche.
Yeah.
I mean, it really did. Like, because we weren't the duck and cover
Mhm.
like my parents were. It was like, no, you're gone. It's
Right.
the day after. Remember that ABC show with Jason Robards? It was the idea of like, oh no, you better hope you get in that flame. You don't want to
You
stick
want to be
around.
as close to you want to be as close to impact as
Yeah, you
possible.
want to run to that ground zero.
Yeah.
You want to run to it.
Interesting.
But also I forgot one too, so by the way, the other one is my question of the day was, what do you think is a character that kind of AI fictional sci-fi character that really represents kind of what the future is with AI? And I think RoboCop is
a
a
good one.
very close to what possibly could be super real.
So
And I'm not saying a dead person come to life. I'm saying
humans bionically
that we've already got the
Yes.
glasses and this idea of like, you know what, we don't have time anymore for this. And Judge Dredd is that way. To Judge Dredd is that
instead
way.
of a flak jacket, bulletproof vest, they're gonna have a RoboCop style uniform that's made of some really light fabric that's also impenetrable to knives and bullets, and they're gonna have face shields that read out everything about you, and they'll be able to tell you your credit score to your blood type while they're interviewing you. And if they say, well, what's your name, sir? I'm refusing to provide identification. Okay, Johnny Gwynn, that's your first crime we're charging you
first
with.
offense. Yeah.
And then we know who you are. So where have you been? Oh, I was at my friend's house. No, you weren't. We know exactly where you were.
Well, they're already doing that with your phone.
Yeah, of course. But you can leave without your phone.
Yeah.
But when the surveillance network is in full place, But also, it doesn't matter how much technology is in place if they don't have the AI brain to run them.
Right, the software. That's what Palantir's so good at.
Yeah.
That's why Palantir is so valuable and good at what they do. They make sense of not only the haystack, but the whole acre of hay. Like they can figure out how you want to use. Do you want to use the hay? Do you want to use the needle? Do you want to? Or is it? How do you find the needle in the stack of needles?
Yeah, you're only going to continue to see more militarization of the police force. You should expect that.
And also more technology.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, tomorrow we're going to be not near as bad, but tomorrow I will be a technocrat.
Yeah.
Like why I'm not a Republican, why I'm not a Democrat, I'm a technocrat, because this idea of sustainable prosperity is something that I truly believe in. And it's not these progressive, hippy dippy pie in the sky communist promises. It's this idea of there are these resources we can multiply, and how we multiply it and how everyone can be accessible to this.
Yeah.
And it's not this idea of government fixing it. It's actually the idea of technology fixing this.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Well, we're going to be overly optimistic on Fridays.
Another movie, by the way, is Enemy of the State.
Okay.
Which has been around for 20 years.
Is that the one with Harrison Ford?
Gene Hackman and Will Smith.
Right, that's right.
And I will say, the Demolition Man's pretty funny because every house and every office has a little ticket machine in it. And every time you cuss, you get a ticket, like a speeding ticket.
That's funny.
Yeah. And which is like, come on, that's the censors on social media, right?
I mean,
that's pretty funny.
That's pretty
Go watch Demolition Man. Like, I'd be fun to watch your kids watch it. How weird it would be. Like, why are they doing this?
That's funny.
But also go, that's like today.
I'm going to watch.
That's not a joke.
I'm adding that to my list.
Yeah.
Let me see where that's streaming.
Demolition Man. It's Sly Stallone had a good run of hits in the 80s for sure, other than Rocky.
Man, he had a good run.
Tango and Cash being one.
It's not available for free streaming on any major platform.
What?
You can buy or rent it on Amazon Video.
I'll
Apple
see
TV.
if I will see if I have it on DVD because I just hooked up my DVD player.
That's hilarious.
So we can have a watch party.
Yeah, no problem.
Look,
That sounds fun.
we go all this time. We finally get some people viewing us. Well, you can go back and watch the rerun anytime you want. I'll rerun this tonight at 7 p.m. on most of my channels, but we're going to have to cut this off. We were a little late today.
Sorry, we had fun though.
Yeah, my mom came on. Mark Chapman came on. Thank you.
Great to have some visitors. Listen to our dystopian rants.
Well, this was a lot of dystopian, but also in the present, which a lot of people would say we're in a dystopian world right now. And
That's true.
right today was Minority Report and predictive AI policing. So I hope that we are saying, look, we live in a relatively safe part of, even in this town, as Mobile doesn't have the best statistical numbers. I feel relatively safe where I live. I hope you do too. But we won't, anytime soon, Mobile won't be having, federal troops and
It'll be a minute.
yeah, we will be. We're third, fourth tier market.
Trump says that New Orleans may be right after Chicago.
You have to spread it around and say, see, because you take away the idea of, see, the Republican mayors and governors do allow us in.
Yeah,
Quit saying that we won't go in there.
Right.
The funny thing is, and that is the red states. But the problem is the Democratic run cities.
Yeah,
and they won't mention that.
Yeah.
But again, facts are meant to be, and statistics are meant to be massaged.
That's right. Ben Franklin said there's lies, damn lies,
and statistics. And also, I got to see. And also, Ben Franklin is the most wrongly quoted person in the history of, and that's what the internet says anyway.
Well, I also read
that's what he said about the internet.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, Abraham Lincoln said 85% of what you read on the internet is true.
That's right. Exactly. Keep that in your kids. Keep that in your bonnets, kids.
That's right.
All right, everybody. Thanks for not watching, but beauty of the internet is you can get it later, and we'll see you tomorrow with Overly Optimistic Friday.
See you guys.
And them's the lunch.